Today we have a bunch of topics to cover. We'll get into some world offshore races with the boating, and Shikai can tell us what happened over there. Moto dads, Shikai's got some stuff to say, and I got a little bit of a story to go on. Tino to Daytona updates, as well as talks of a new race series proposed that might be taking place across many islands on the planet. So that's something that we will lead into, but we do not know a whole bunch about, but we'll talk about what we do know. And with that, hello and welcome to Island Talk. As always, I'm Justin Maley and I'm here with Shikai Easton. How you doing, Shikai?
Everything's wonderful, man. Everything's wonderful. Weather in Bermuda's a little gloomy. It's getting a little cool, but still beautiful day.
That's a beautiful thing to hear.
Yep.
It's I'm getting used to the everything's wonderful and the weather's beautiful. I'm looking forward to my weekly weather update that you keep giving us.
Well, you gotta give the people what they want, right? When they close their eyes and picture Bermuda is sunny skies and pink sand beaches with blue water. So that's what we see every day, even if it's raining.
Yeah, let's face it, you guys need the tourism, so we just keep telling everyone how awesome it is to go to Bermuda. And if you get over there, look Shikai up and drop him a tip.
Yep, this is it.
So
This is it.
let's get started. We don't have a lot going on today, but we have some stuff to talk about and some things that went on, and not only Bermuda, but you know, all over the other islands. I've got some information from the Shetland Islands about their motocross, and I have reached out to some people over there to get some more information. Obviously, there's some riders from Bermuda that head down to the Dominican Republic and all that sort of stuff. We've got feedback from Jamaica. We've got feedback from Barbados. I even had some information come to us from Cuba. So we're starting to get a little bit of traction here. But right now we don't have much going on aside from news on the island. But there is rumors. I put out on Instagram the other day for people to DM me, and the DMs on Instagram lit up. Our Instagram, for anyone that wants to hit us up, is island.talk, and that's TORQUE, not talk as in talking to each other, but talk like an engine. So island.talk on Instagram, and the DMs kind of lit up with people talking crap, people wanting to know some information, people asking about Tino and how they can help with Daytona, people talking crap about going to Daytona, but we'll cover that in a minute. But there was talk about the Bermuda beach race that someone was rumored to be trying to get off the ground last week. I've since heard that there is a group on one of the other islands that is looking to do a beach race and trying to go to possibly Jamaica or the Dominican Republic. Have you heard any of those rumors?
I have not, but this is all amazing. I'm in awe, to be honest. Wish Bermuda would jump on with that, but I could see other countries being open armed to it, tourism wise, and just doing new stuff. I hope that we're involved in this one because that would be amazing.
Yeah, a few years ago, I want to say it was about 2017 or 2018, there was a gentleman that reached out to me from Panama, and he had ties with Red Bull, and they were looking at possibly doing an event in Panama on the beach motocross there, and get some big name riders like David Knight and Jeffrey Hurlings over to ride that. It didn't go anywhere at the time. I've worked extensively for Red Bull during my time in the US, but there's definitely talk picking up again, and it would be awesome to capture something in Bermuda if that was the case. If someone's legitimately trying to put something together and is looking at it, it would be awesome to have an event in Bermuda.
Definitely. I think we've had talks about Red Bull once before. I don't know if it was you and I or someone else. It was someone who knew Travis, and we were gonna try and get the Nitro Circus or Red Bull, one of the two, to Bermuda. I don't know how far it went, but I did have a conversation on it, and beach racing was touched on. Like beach racing is big. Um, I follow the one in England. It looks insane. Looks really fun, to be honest. Fun but hard at the same time. If there is ever a beach race that I could get to, I'm gonna race it.
Yeah, and they,
Um,
the first thing that comes up is, oh, the environment, oh, the environment. But you're not building a supercross track out there. You're marking out some dirt for some people to ride on, and they're not going up into the dunes. It's a beach race, and then the waves come in and erase everything that was ever there, and you're back to how the beach was the day before. Anyway, it's not like a massive environmental impact. There's places all over the planet that have beach races that don't have any harm, and people don't even know they even happen.
yeah, that's totally my thoughts. It's almost like you don't want to have beach races, but fishermen drive diesel boats with Detroit diesels that are 50 years old, leaking all out in the ocean, and the cruise ships come by and dump a whole bunch of waste in the ocean. But we're not gonna have beach races.
Yeah, and we could get into the stats on this whole you know environmental thing and how that goes down, but at the end of the day, I'm just smart enough to ride a motorcycle, and you're just smart enough to do that, and that's all we kind of care about is having some fun and bringing the the young people of the islands together and learning how to race and having a good time. I mean, that's all it comes down to. We're not trying to get Rita Thunberg or whatever her name is, Greta Thunberg, to come and shut down the island because someone rode their motorcycle down the beach.
Yeah, totally. It's all about family environment. Motocross is big on family. For those that don't know, it's it's crazy how much families are involved with motocross
Yeah.
and what it does, the impact it has on a family.
That's a perfect segue. You might be learning how to do this podcast shit because where the next topic is going to be Moto Dad, and that's something that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I think I've been practicing a bit, huh? Yeah, so no, Sunday, I went down the track because Tino was racing again. Well, everyone was racing, but I went down specifically for Tino, and I was in the trailer, and his brother Anu was getting ready to go out. So the father Troy was telling Anu, "Get mad. You're not coming last today. You're gonna come second last. Act like Tino stole your trick or treat candy." I was sitting on the bench, dying laughing, and I watched Anu ride, which I don't usually do. I ended up paying attention to Anu, and he was in last. And the last corner of the last lap, Anu passed the little kid like he took his trick or treat candy, and Troy was out on the track dancing. It was so comical, like father and son, and the little enjoyments is what I'm really picking at because as a moto dad, ex moto dad, because none of my kids race, I kind of missed that. They had to win or we was getting home. I was horrible, and I wish that I had that energy to keep my kids going because coming second last from last was a big deal, and he really rode like someone took his candy.
Yeah. And that's the kind of I grew up with the Moto Dad on the other end of the spectrum. My dad was an awesome gentleman, and he's passed away now. But I grew up with him on the other end of the spectrum. I remember doing badly at a race and coming back in, and my dad picked up my bike and threw it over the fence, and that's that's where my bike was for the rest of the day.
Yeah, see, it's me. That was me. I can say I don't have any more kids that race. They both play soccer. Um, yeah, I can say I chased them out of motocross. Nah, the oldest one wants a race, so he said when he finishes college, I gotta get this. I gotta buy him a bike, and he's 21. Um,
That's that's that new generation we're bringing up. You got to handle that stuff, Dad.
yeah, you want to go back racing, so you buy the bike and I'll ride it. No problem. I'm gonna buy a 450 that I can ride.
I It's not really a Moto Dad story. It's just a funny story that I think I was going to tell you about in Canada when I was up there racing, and I was walking through the pits at, I think it was the CMX National, and I see a YZ85. I'll never forget this thing. It was a YZ85, and the exhaust, they're two-stroke with the expansion chamber, and the expansion chamber was cut in half, and the front half was an FMF pipe welded to a pro circuit pipe. And I stop and I'm looking at it and I'm like trying to work out what the hell's going on. I obviously thought, this kid's crashed, had a pro circuit pipe, he's crashed, he's bent it all up, and all they had was a FMF pipe, so they welded them together. Turns out the dad had been reading some research on exhaust pipes and reviews and all that sort of stuff, and the FMF had great bottom end power and the pro circuit had great top end power for that particular bike and that year. So he bought both pipes, cut them in half, and had them welded together, and figured, well, if you have great bottom end power on an FMF and great top end power on a pro circuit, and you just weld them together, well, now you've got the best of both worlds. And I went off scratching my head on this moto. Dad's got it all figured out. No one else does. He knows what's going on.
But it all depends on which pipe you put on, because it have to be FMF down bottom or pro circuit up top, or vice versa, right? I got him. He's got that figured out.
Yeah, he just needs to. He may as well buy two bikes, a KTM and a Suzuki, and just chop them in half and weld them together, and he's got a, best of both worlds. He's got a sharp turning bike that goes fast. So I don't know.
Totally agree.
So
the stuff you see at track.
So I've always enjoyed, coming to the island and being there for the motocross and stuff. And I went and raced a supermoto race down there, and I've seen the good and the bad with the moto parents all over the world, but especially in Bermuda. And I love seeing the parents that are there for the good time and they're there for the kid, and that's the best thing that I like to see is the kid having fun and the parents there to facilitate that. So that's a good story.
Yeah, definite. I did want to touch on one other thing though. LJ and his son, Johnny, this weekend, they wiped up. They rode really well. I was impressed. I actually told LJ that I was impressed with his riding, and Johnny stepped it up big time as well. Actually, all the kids rode really well, but those two really stood out for me. Just being on the topic of father and son, that was like really good. And Aaron and Caillou as well. They both rode well. They always ride well. So yeah.
Well,
this weekend the track was pretty
exciting.
exciting.
Well, that's good that you've touched on that again. You must be learning this podcast crap, because I was going to talk about results. I've got the results from the weekend sitting right in front of me, so we may as well touch on that now. So my boy, before anyone gets started, my boy King Brown, he was rode the 65 class and he came in fourth again. So I'm seriously thinking about getting on a flight and coming over there and helping King Brown out and see if he can get him up to second or third. And I think you said your guy was King Clark, so I'm going to come over and help King Brown beat King Clark.
Hey, well, at least it's consistent.
I'm going to, again, King Brown is a big snake in Australia. I'm going to get him a butt patch that says he's going to bite everyone in the ass and get it on there and just make him like he's a real hard ass and get him to win some races or something. I'm going to help that kid out.
I'm pretty sure him and his dad would love that.
Perfect. So, like I said, I've got the results here. Pee-wee class, again, I'm not going to go through everyone, but it looks like Janae's daughter came in fifth for the day. Eli Philpott, Messiah Smith, and Diego Daniels took out 1, 2, 3 in the Pee-wee class. Didn't I see the other week that you guys had like a Pee-wee Strider class or something like that? What's going on with that stuff?
I believe they have it sometimes. I didn't see it this weekend. I know last season it was every weekend. I'm not even a member anymore, so I can't tell you anything about that. I know they did have it though.
Okay, that would make sense. And then in the 50 class,
my niece, I believe she won that last year.
The Strider Club.
Yeah, I'm
You there?
pretty sure she won that. You
Yeah,
there?
looked like I lost you for a second. It's might be
Okay.
Bermuda internet, or I doubt it. I doubt it's the California internet that I'm paying a fortune for. It's got to be you guys, right?
Maybe an alien ship just went by the triangle.
So 50cc class. So we've got, and I hate doing this to you guys. I hate getting names wrong. Akayo, is it Canadian?
Yes, sir.
And then
Name.
Ace, Moniz, and Aid Stovall. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then you got 65 class, and you had Cassidy Spencer, King Clark, Rome Dill, and then my boy King Brown. He came in fourth. Henry Stevens looked like he rounded out the top five there. So, um,
Yeah, I got to watch a bit of that 65 class because you keep talking about King Brown. And Cassidy stood out like a sore thumb this weekend. He rode really well. King Clark rode good as well, but Cassidy stood out to me. He rode really aggressive, really aggressive this
that's
weekend.
good. That's good to see him getting better and hearing good stories about him. I do watch, some people post videos and put stuff on Instagram, and I do see what I can look up and see who's going. Obviously, I have no clue who's riding most of the time, but I am watching the riders and seeing stuff from Tino all the time. So that's good. 85s, we had Ajani first, Zy Burt and Jalen Glassford, 1, 2, 3, and then Tino came in fourth.
Yeah, Jalen stepped it up. That's the kid I talked about last podcast a bit. He stepped it up. He rode really hard this weekend. He made Tino smoke. And then Johnny was on his game in the 85 class, and I'll let you finish because I'm pretty sure you're gonna mention him again next.
Who's that?
Go
We
ahead.
had we had Cody Paul come in. He came in fifth. So what's that class looking like? The 85s. So you got a lot of riders on the 85 class on the island or not?
I believe it might be fifth, maybe 8 or 9 85 kids.
Okay, that's not bad. And is there an age group that you guys have set, or is it just, hey, if you've got an 85cc and you rock up, you're in that class?
So it used to be an age group. If you have the results in your hand and you're calling off 1, 2, and 3, then there isn't anymore. So what happens in Bermuda? It will be big enough in the 85 class to have 10 bikes in each class, and then I don't know if it just falls off and it just comes and goes. Motocross in Bermuda comes and goes. It's big and then it's small. Like the 85 class will be huge, and then it will be 3 experts, and then it's 10 experts and 285. So it varies. It's very strange. Um, I'm guessing it's due to the economy and the prices of bikes and parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, as to why, and it's very little sponsorship. So mom and dad, grandpas and grandparents, that's how everyone races mainly. I see now a lot of people are starting to sponsor different teams down there and stuff. Again, I don't know whose team is what. I do know that Ronald Trott Twitch has leveled up and he has 5 or so riders. And Gannon Trott, I don't know the name of his team, but he has a rider in each class as well. So people are starting to pick up and give like little sponsorships here and there. Because everyone knows how hard it is to race motocross in Bermuda.
Yeah, and I know you and I have spoken about, different things and different ideas. I've got some ideas on what could help the club out, but I don't think that's our purview right now. We're just two dudes running a podcast and talking crap for the sake of it. So, that's good to see that there's at least 9 riders in that class. But in the novice class, I think you had a Canadian show up, Dylan Graham. Um,
Yeah, he rode pretty good. He rode really good.
well, that's good to see a Canadian show up in Bermuda and get around the track, and he beat out Micah or Micah, Ajani, Um, and then, obviously, how many people in the novice class he took out? He took out that class, but was he up against some actual good competition? Did the Bermudians give him a run for his
Yeah,
money?
yeah. Johnny was giving him a good. I want to say the first moto Johnny won. I believe Johnny won the first moto. He rode, like I said, and his on a super mini. He rode really well this weekend. Azai's in there as well. Micah. When I saw him the first moto, I believe Micah crashed and had to work his way back up. Don't quote me on that 100%, but that's what I believe. I saw Micah further back in the pack working towards the front. And the other kid he went well. He rode pretty good. He made the Bermudians pay attention.
That's good to see. So then we've got over 30, over 40, and expert. Over 30, again, we kind of talk a lot about the results, so we're going to move on real quick. But Lorenzo Birch, Daquan Burgess, and Jason Amaro were over 30. Doesn't look like there was much bigger of a class than that because that's all the results they have. Then Ronnie Trott, Ben Zola, LaTroy Trott, Ashley Simmons, and Jason Harrell for the over 40s.
Yeah.
And then expert was Alan DeGraff, Zico Majors, Seth Hughes, Preston Martin, and Aidan Simmons.
No, they didn't score journal.
I don't have that. I have the expert as Alan DeGraff coming first, and then I don't see Jonah in here at all.
Jonah raced the first two motos. He didn't race the third moto. But okay.
Yeah, these are what I have access to right now, so they might be legit. I don't know. I'm trying not to make anything up on the fly, but that's what I have.
Oh, good.
All right then. So next thing, this is going to be all you, brother. This is Key West boat race results and the stuff. I think Bermuda had two boats go over for the weekend, the World Championship.
Yeah, we had two boats go over this year. Last year it was just one GL construction with Stephen Bridges and David Selly. They came fourth last year. They did really good last year as well. And this year we have a new. Actually, last year we had the pink boat as well. Enough said. Race last year was the fresh year. Andy Sternum and Louis Martin. They were rookies last year, and then this year they swapped Rotterdam, so Andy stayed home, and they put in Nick Impreza. He's a he's a really good driver. His father was Jody Impreza, world champion. I believe Nick's won a few championships within the last 5 years himself. I believe his age is 25. Don't quote me on any of this. I don't know him myself. I'm just going off of what I've read. But I do follow him in Powerboats because he's a big up and coming name. They got second overall in the World Championships at QS, and that's enough said in the pink boat. And GL Construction got fourth. I believe into the final day, Bermuda was third and fourth in points. I believe. They was in the top five the whole three races, so I was really proud of that. To see local talent out there and doing good, mixing it up with some of the best drivers in the world. It's pretty impressive.
So what is their plan from here? Do they leave boats in the US? Or they take them back to the next season, which kicks off, I can't remember, March or May next year in Bermuda, or are they staying over here? What's the plan from them? Do you know?
I can only go off of what happened last year. They leave the boats out there. Um, those guys don't race in Bermuda anymore because I'm guessing finances is too much to do both back and forth. Um, I believe they're gonna race again next year. Don't quote me. I'm not in the loop with those two teams. I follow like everyone else online. So um I'm guessing that they're both gonna race again next year. Um over in America. But I don't know for sure.
Well, that's going to be good to follow. And I've had one of the guys on one of the teams reach out in a DM, just to basically say hello and thanks for the support and all that sort of stuff. Like, one of the things is we're trying to support all the sports and especially motorsports across the islands, not just Bermuda. So it's good to hear from some of the people in the boating world that appreciate what we're trying to do. Um,
Yeah,
Anything you want to touch on with the boat stuff? I know they're kind of out of season now, but is there anything you want to touch on, or do you want to do something dedicated to them in the future?
um, as of right now, no. Yeah, boat season's over, so I don't even really think about boats. My boat's covered over. Um, if anyone out there wants to sponsor me with a new motor next year, feel free. But otherwise than that, no.
All right, well, we'll call it good enough, and we'll call you anyone that wants to support Freeload and Shikai can reach out to Shikai and hand him a bunch of cash so he can get a motor.
This is it. I'm tired of paying out my pocket. It's time to freeload.
Hey, I'm all good with Freeload, and if someone's got $1 million each and you can have some money, that's fine. I'm totally okay with it.
That makes two of us, mate.
So DMs, I wanted to touch on DMs and what's going on, and I appreciate everyone reaching out. Mostly positive. Actually, I haven't had anything bad come direct to me. I've heard rumors, but it's mainly rumors of you know why don't they talk about this? Why don't they talk about that? Why don't they touch on my phone? Why did they mention this other person? Or we have the content we have, so I'm not going to go too far into that. But one of the things that did come through, I answered a bunch of questions for some people about some Stark Vargs and racing in AMA and MXGP and the difference between the rules and the FIM and the AMA and et cetera, et cetera. So I did try to sort out that as best I can. Again, most people probably have no clue who I am. My wife doesn't particularly give a shit that I used to ride motorcycles, so I can't imagine that anyone on the island gives a crap. But I have been around a little bit and been around for a little while, much like Shikai, and do know a lot of the rules and a lot of the people that are racing all over the planet. So we tried to clean it up as best we can. But one of the things that came through, and I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but there is rumors and people working on some kind of motocross series that would pit island against island. And the way they kind of pitched it to me and how that was working out, that looks like something that could be an amazing event. I know Bermuda can't get into the FIM and go to the Motocross of Nations. I know majority of the islands can't do that. People that reached out to me from the Shetland Islands, they can't do that. They're part of Scotland. There's Barbados and all the other places that can't do any of that. So this series pitting island against island could be amazing. What do you think?
It sounds amazing. I'm racing that. I don't care. No, I'm just joking. But no, it is very exciting to see the best of the islands because it's a good bit of islands out there that, like you said, they don't have the space to have a FIM approved track. So, but we do have the talent, uh, at least to make the B mains out of designations, I believe. Anyway, um, it would be great to just have a island event where we can compete against smaller islands, just to pretty much see where we stand against the rest of the islands around the world. That would be amazing. I'm pretty sure Bermuda would love to host one of those. Um, Speaking for myself, to be honest, because I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, and it couldn't do anything but bolster, you know, tourism and stuff. It doesn't matter which island holds it. It couldn't do anything but help with tourism. And the big hurdle obviously would be logistics on bikes and riders and stuff. But it happens all over the planet every day, so it's not like it's a hurdle that can't be jumped. But hearing rumors of that and hearing about the people that are behind it, it could turn into a big thing. I mean, it could fall flat on its face tomorrow. Who knows? But yeah, I'd be super excited to see something like that happen.
Yeah, I love to keep hearing whispers about this. It's I'm glad you've been surprising me a lot about beach racing and islands against each other, and I'm loving this. I'm loving this. The excitement of motocross is slowly but surely coming back for me.
Yeah, and I think it's, you know, I don't think we're doing all the pulling. We might have been a catalyst to get the conversation started, but hearing all this stuff and seeing who's behind what and who wants to try is one of the big things with the podcast. And me and we've spoken about a lot in the past of how do we help do this, how do we help do that, and try and fail. And I think we can just help where we know our expertise will help rather than trying to pull the train ourselves. And I think that's what I'm kind of most excited about is seeing new people and new blood come into the sport. Jai stepping up. He's obviously been riding almost his entire life, but having him step up and do the Coney Island event is amazing for motocross on the island, regardless of who run the event. It's a thing that needed to happen, and Jai stepped up and did it. I think everyone needs to be behind pulling for it instead of, if there's anyone out there trying to tear down the events or tear down the riders, it should be the opposite way. It should be just everyone pulling the same direction and improving everything for everyone all the time.
Yeah, I think eventually we're all gonna get together on this motocross thing and see that it's just we have one object, and that's to make motocross in Bermuda better. Whether it be Coney Island, whether it be Southside, whether we race on the beach or at my track at the governor's house, we're all just one day we're gonna get it right. We're gonna come together and make everything great. And I'm gonna just keep speaking positive because it has to happen. It has to happen. I've been back and forth in and out of motocross in Bermuda for years, and it gets better. It slowly but surely gets better. And I believe the more people that get away and go and experience racing in Canada, in the US, wherever you go that has a big organization and you get to see what they're doing, then you come home with the idea of, or the same vision as the people that are putting on or trying to put on events, or the committee members that are trying to help the club to grow, because you're not a big fish in a little pond no more. You're actually a small fish in the big ocean once you get out and experience it. And that's kind of what my goal is, to get some small guys out there to experience racing in other parts of the world, the US, Canada, whatever.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you touch on that because, once you go out, and I'm not going to speak for Bermudians because I don't live on the island, but once I get out and see what's going on in the big world, you don't have to replicate that. And if you try and replicate that on the island, it's going to fail. You need to take those ideas and, turn them into a Bermudian idea and do it the Bermudian way. The same as the old cool running saying is if you're going to do everything from Jamaica, then you damn well better do it the Jamaican way. So, go bobsledding the Jamaican way. Well, do motocross the Bermudian way.
Yeah, definitely. Elbows down and legs open.
I'm not going to say anything on that. I'm not going to judge any women on the island or anything. So,
I was talking about motocross riders.
um, so the last thing we could touch on before we wrap it up is Tino to Daytona. How's that looking? I see shirts and see stuff going on and promoted the shirts on Instagram, and I know that there's been a bunch of sales, but how's everything else going on the island for Tino?
So Tino and motocross. So we got the sales going on the shirts, which is ramping up a lot. It's ramping up pretty good. Very positive. I believe we're gonna auction off a pair of Tino replica sneakers, pink and yellow, which they looked amazing. Um, I gotta get back on the person on that today. I did get some feedback. Pretty sure we're gonna have those pretty soon to raffle off, but everything's looking positive. I've had some of my old friends And old sponsors asked me about this event and ready to jump on board and help out any way they can. So we have, once we get into Florida, we have a 16 by 8 trailer that we're gonna have to our disposal, tools in it. Like, so we have the tools and power washers and all of that stuff for free already. So it's ramping up. It's ramping up. People's starting to jump on board, and they're starting to kick in, and they can see what we can see. Just get one kid at a time out of Bermuda, and the more hands, many hands make light work. So that's what we're going for, and it's very positive right now. It is very, very positive. A lot better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, and that's, from my end, I've got conversations with some big ticket holders in the industry, some fairly major brands that want to step up and help. So, we're not looking for a free ride. We're not looking to make Tino this factory rider and he's sponsored for the next 10 years of his life and he's a Red Bull athlete or anything like that. We're just trying to get a kid that deserves a chance to go to Daytona and try and win a race. If he runs around and ends up 40th, I really don't care. As long as he has fun, everyone has fun, and it leads to the next rider, and it leads to the next person. I think there's definitely been some conversations about, well, why didn't you do this person? Why didn't you do that person? This person's overdoing this thing, and to be perfectly honest, from my side, I'm not going to speak for Shikai. Shikai's a big enough person to speak for himself, but from my side, um, no one reached out to me to ask me to do something. So I'm spending a lot of my time, a lot of my money, a lot of my expertise to make this thing happen. I think Shikai's doing the same thing. Um, we choose who we choose. Tino is not the end of the road. There's going to be more rides, and it's disappointing to hear some of the conversations, but it is what it is. It's Tino set the criteria that we set, and we actually set this criteria. Damn, what do you think? 4 years ago?
I want to say it was longer than that because Zamir was ideal person at the
Yeah,
time, but obviously I was already helping his dad, and we had we had our own race team, 3D Racing, where we had the same ideas. Rock would buy bikes and literally try to keep them all in the container so that we could take people up and get them a ride. Like, you can come with us for the weekend and just ride, type of thing. So this is definitely something old, but it's just coming to life now with you on board. You're helping out a lot more. So it's just a lot. It makes it a lot easier. But yeah, like you said, Tino fit the criteria for now. We definitely have more riders in sight. That one I've spoke to, and the rest I'm just looking at, just seeing how you carry yourself and represent Bermuda. Represent yourself and your family down at the track. That all plays a big part because I'm not taking some kid and his mom or dad that are running around the track screaming or gonna embarrass us. So I know I'm not gonna get that from this kid. And that's one of the reasons that I chose Tino. And then I see him just I'm around him all the time and I'm watching him train and I see his passion for the sport. So I was just like, you know what? This is the perfect first person.
yeah, and that's exactly it. Our criteria was the person had to be on an 85 because that's what we have access to. The person had to be a certain age because we don't want to age out of the bike before we even get to the event. And, we support an 85 rider and he turns 16 or whatever it is. And, Tino set the criteria that we set. And I'm all about helping anyone on the island. I don't care if they're already living in California, if they're going to race in Canada, if they're doing whatever. I've bought bikes for people. I've bought bikes for Bermudians. I'm all about doing whatever. So if you need help or you want help, then the best way is instead of you know talking or asking people that have nothing to do with it how this happened, again, reach out to us on Instagram. We're on Instagram. That's the easiest place to find us. You can find Chakai, and I'm sure you can hit him up on the island. He's probably got his phone number out and about in a bunch of places, but just hit us up. We can help, or you can go do it alone. It's not any skin off our nose other than time, money, and effort to help if we have to. So, I mean,
Yeah,
unless you've got something else to say, Shakai, I think everything with Tino moving ahead right now is going pretty good. The first lot of shirts is super limited number of people, and I've got Ricky Johnson's bought some shirts, and there's high people up in the industry that are actually looking to help Bermuda out and Bermudian riders. So I think we just keep going the direction we're going.
yeah, definitely. I just would like to let everyone know if you're a little patient, I'm pretty sure you're gonna see results from what Justin and I are trying to do in the future. Just know not everyone's gonna get to go. I can promise you that. But this isn't the last time, so um just be positive. That's all. This is all I'm trying to do is be positive and share my passion for motocross because I don't have to do this. I can go boat racing or fishing or sit on my couch, but I would rather give what I have, and someone did it for me, so I want to do it for someone else or a few more people and just give you the experience that I got.
Yeah, and on top of that, I've been pretty shit lately because I didn't put it on Instagram like I was supposed to. But I got the information on the German Winter Series race that they're asking us to send someone. So I think it does. It probably doesn't clash with Daytona, but they're probably really close to being the same weekend. I want to say right now, tentatively, they're a week apart. So I'm all about getting a rider from Bermuda or somewhere else. I really don't have any, need to do anyone, but get a rider from Bermuda to go over and race this Winter Series race in Germany. The race is put on by a very good friend of mine. They always have big factory teams run up and, show up, and there's potential to do other things, but we're looking for more than one rider. Tino's just the first one that we're going to do, and if we can keep this ball rolling, then we'll help out as many people as we can. But be patient, be diligent, help us out, and send over your stuff. Hit us up on Instagram. Tell us what you want to do.
Yeah, I agree. There's always room for more,
Yeah, exactly.
but be positive. That's all we're trying to do is be positive and get this ball rolling. Make motocross great again for small islands. How about
There
that?
we go. That's the. I'm not even going to get into that whole politics thing. Just make motocross good. um,
Ah, I'll paint my hair orange. It's
there you
okay.
go. There you go. Do whatever you have to do. Well, that's all I've really got to talk about this week. I'm going to try and get this posted as soon as I can. It is my son's birthday today, so I will do what I can in the time that I have available. One thing that I have been slacking on, and I know I should have already recorded a thing, is there is some companies stepping up to help out with the podcast. They're, obviously not paying me a fortune, and we don't have $1 million deal with Spotify this week, but I will get some information out. And those companies, most of them are US based right now, and they're going to offer discounts to our readers or listeners or whoever you might be, watchers, whatever it happens to be. So I will get that information. I'll put it into our bios. I'll put it into all sorts of links. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. I think we're on TikTok. But there's some good things happening behind the scenes. And if you guys, anyone listening, comes to the greater US area right now, you will be able to get discounts. So stay tuned for that. If you don't see them and you want to start an argument, DM me. Tell me I'm a shitty person, and that'll remind me to get it done.
that just tell the truth.
Yeah. Just like I said, remind me I'm a shitty person. I didn't say tell me I'm a shitty person.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, brother. We will do this stuff same time next week, same channel, same bat time,
Yep.
same bat program.
Same old, same
All
old.
right.
See you
All right,
later.
brother. Thank you.
Cool.